Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
My name is Maya, and for the last few years, I've been managing the Artisan Yards, a complex of 12 workshop and studio spaces that my grandmother started decades ago. It's a passion project for me, a place where local artists and small businesses can thrive. We have a shared loading bay and a common area for tenants to use for deliveries, shipping, and occasional outdoor projects. It's first come, first served, and we operate on mutual respect. Most of my tenants are wonderful, but then there were Kieran and Clara. They rented Studio 7, a smaller space they claimed was for bespoke leather goods. From day one, they were off. Kieran, always agitated, and Clara, perpetually looking glazed over. They were in their early 30s, but had an air of entitlement that grated on everyone. The real problems started with the loading bay. They'd constantly leave their beat-up van parked there for hours, sometimes overnight, blocking other tenants from receiving materials or shipping finished products. When anyone tried to politely ask them to move, they'd be met with a hostile glare from Kieran or a mumbled excuse from Clara. I sent them polite emails, then formal notices about common area rules. They ignored them all. One morning, I arrived to find our main loading bay completely inaccessible, blocked by their van and a pile of what looked like discarded leather scraps, reeking of chemicals. On the side of their van, someone had spray-painted "Reserved Studio 7 Only" in sloppy white letters. It was childish, defiant, and frankly, infuriating. I knew it was them. They were trying to claim my loading bay, a shared resource, as their own private property. This wasn't just an inconvenience. It was actively hindering other businesses and threatening the harmony of the yards. I had tried being the patient landlord, but this crossed a line. My reputation and the very spirit of the Artisan Yards was at stake. I was fuming. I had already tried every standard landlord approach. Eviction for nuisance behavior is a long, drawn-out process, and I didn't want to wait months while they continued to disrupt everyone. I needed something decisive. Their erratic behavior, the strange hours they kept, the constant smell of something acrid wafting from their unit, and now this blatant disregard for rules and property, it all clicked. My property manager, a kind older gentleman named Ben, had mentioned seeing them exchange odd packages with shady-looking characters late at night. I started to suspect there was more to their bespoke leather goods business than met the eye. My plan solidified. I would make a direct confrontation about the loading bay, not just to move their van, but to get close enough to their unit to observe. Lease agreements always allow for landlord inspections with proper notice, but I decided I'd make it an urgent visit responding to a complaint about the blocked bay and the mess. I needed to see what was really going on inside that studio, and I needed to do it while they were on edge. I wanted irrefutable proof of a serious lease violation, something that would allow for immediate termination. The next afternoon, I saw Kieran's van finally move, but the reserved graffiti remained, a stark insult. I strode down to Studio 7, my heart thumping, a carefully rehearsed speech ready. I knocked firmly. It took a while, but eventually, Kieran yanked the door open. He looked even more disheveled than usual, his eyes bloodshot, a strange, nervous energy radiating off him. "What do you want?" he snapped, clearly annoyed. He didn't recognize me as Maya Thorne, owner of the Artisan Yards. He'd only ever dealt with Ben, my property manager, and occasionally glimpsed me from afar. To him, I was just another nosy tenant. "I want to know why you think you can graffiti my property and block the shared loading bay," I said, my voice steady despite the adrenaline. "That's a lease violation and it's affecting everyone here." He scoffed, narrowing his eyes. "Look, lady, we need that space. It's reserved for us. And what graffiti? Get lost." As he spoke, he leaned against the doorframe, trying to block my view. But it was too late. Over his shoulder, on a workbench barely visible from the doorway, lay a glass pipe shimmering under the harsh fluorescent light next to a small, clear Ziploc baggie containing what looked like tiny white crystals. My breath hitched. Crystal meth. There it was, clear as day. I pretended to be frustrated. "Fine, Kieran. Have it your way." I turned abruptly and walked away, not giving him a chance to react, my mind already racing. I got back to my office, heart still pounding, and immediately called the police. I calmly explained that I was the property owner, had been dealing with troublesome tenants, and had just observed what appeared to be drug paraphernalia and a substance consistent with crystal methamphetamine inside their unit during a lease-related discussion. Within 30 minutes, 2 police cruisers pulled into the Artisan Yards. I met them outside Studio 7, pointed to the door, and explained again that I had just seen illicit drugs. The officers knocked, and this time the scent of chemicals was much stronger. Kieran answered again, looking even more agitated. The officers quickly spotted the pipe in the baggie, which had been carelessly left out. They asked Kieran and Clara to step outside. The scene that unfolded was exactly what I had hoped for. The police found more drugs, packaging materials, and evidence of heavy use within their studio. Kieran and Clara were both arrested on the spot for possession with intent to distribute and for manufacturing drugs on commercial property. Other tenants watched from their doorways, a mixture of shock and relief on their faces. I immediately served them with a formal eviction notice, citing the egregious violations of their lease agreement, specifically the clause prohibiting illegal activities and damage to property. It was open and shut. They were gone. The aftermath was grim. Their studio unit was a mess. The bespoke leather goods were a front. The real operation involved chemicals and substances that required professional cleaning and remediation. I had to rip out drywall and flooring, costing me thousands, but it was a small price to pay for peace of mind. Kieran and Clara faced serious charges. I later learned through local news reports that Kieran had a prior record, which significantly impacted his bail and sentencing. Clara, too, was looking at jail time. The Artisan Yards finally breathed a sigh of relief. The graffiti on the van was removed, the loading bay was clear, and my other tenants could finally operate their businesses without fear or frustration. It was a tough situation, but seeing Kieran and Clara being led away in handcuffs, knowing they wouldn't be bothering anyone again, provided a profound sense of justice. They tried to claim my property and livelihood with their entitlement and illegal activities, and in the end, they lost everything. Sometimes the best revenge isn't planned meticulously in advance, but seized opportunistically when the universe hands you the perfect, undeniable truth. And when it does, you call the cops.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.